Mm.
Good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar on the networking meeting for MERITA project entitled The Impact of the Artistic Residencies in the Historic Houses. I'm very happy to see all of you here for this meeting. I'm glad that you decided to spend the next 2 hours with us, discussing, exchanging, and sharing the experiences. The European Historic Houses Association represents the national associations of privately owned historic houses. And our mission is to be the voice of the private owners, to help owners in finding the best solutions for their houses, in creating synergies, but also to participate in the European projects. In this slide, we joined the consortium of the MERITA project, alongside people who are present here, and of course the coordinator of this project, Dimore Del Quartetto. So before we begin with the official parts, I would like to give the floor to Francesca and Bianca from Dimore Del Quartetto to explain the idea behind the MERITA and why we are here together with the owners, training organizations, and concert organizers to present you this project and the opportunities of hosting artistic residencies and concerts in the historic houses. Francesca.
Thank you, Evelina. Thank you, European Historic Houses, to introduce us and to be partner of both Dimore Del Quartetto and MERITA, because it's not the first project that we developed together, but it's a sort of partnership who give value to our work. MERITA, it's a very important project who put together different actors to valorize musician and heritage. I have good news for all the network. The good news that we won the new call. So MERITA platform has a fantastic future in front of us, because the platform will be supported by the European Commission for the next 4 years after the 2025. So the strength that we put together with our network will be stronger and stronger, because new actor, new partner will be part of the platform and will give more value at this circulation, artistic circulation, and more value to the heritage, the European heritage, who is the main actor with the artist of the platform. But before MERITA, there is Dimore Del Quartetto. We are project manager and coordinator of this platform, because we start with an idea 8 years ago, and I leave the floor to Bianca to explain you what there is behind MERITA, Dimore Del Quartetto. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bianca, and I'm the responsible for the heritage part at Dimore Del Quartetto. I'm very happy because I see a lot of known faces, but there's also a lot of new faces. So I'll try to give an overview of who we are and what was the idea that actually gave birth also to the project MERITA. And then I will try to give some insights that might be interesting also for the ones who know us very well, who are already part of the network and who might not know about all of the new opportunities that are in the network because we are in constant evolution. So for those who are still curious to know something about us, we are a creative cultural enterprise. We are a nonprofit that has a main goal of enhancing chamber music and the European cultural heritage in a circular economy. So all of the projects that we design are born from this exchange. That was an idea of Francesca Moncada, who just introduced Le Dimore Del Quartetto. And so the idea was a simple exchange. When musicians need to travel for an artistic engagement, they have the opportunity to stay and be hosted by the historic houses for a few days. And in exchange, they will offer to the house a concert. With this simple exchange, the network has grown a lot, and we have developed many, many activities. So starting with the residencies and concerts, but ending with European projects such as MERITA. And through that, many activities were developed with social outreach, with educational purposes, with masterclass festivals. All of the activity are all linked by the same goals and the same values. And so MERITA is the maximum exponential of this activity. If we can switch the slide, I want to give you a couple of numbers of where we're at right now. Let's see. I don't know if. Super. Thank you, Martina. We are about 300 historic houses today, but we're growing constantly in 17 countries. We have the biggest roster of ensemble between quartets and trios at an international level. And so this is actually something that is key, because with those two networks, everything that is created is thanks to all of the active collaboration that we develop throughout time. I think we are way over 80 active collaboration. We have many more, and these are the key of what we do, because we work as a network and we work as constant collaboration between all of the entities that make whatever we do possible. Nothing that we do on our own, and the European project is a key demonstration of this. But everything that we do, we try to do with the idea of innovating, of building bridges between sectors that are not always working together, or even within the same sectors between worlds that need to be connected and are not yet maybe working together to create value. So to go a little bit more in depth on who are those main stakeholders we work with, I wanted to tell you something about our historic houses. So the next slide would be about that. It is our network is made of houses that are of all types. We don't only have historic houses, there are villas, there are castles, there are farmhouses. I don't know if Martina can switch the slides, but it doesn't show the new one yet.
We are trying, Bianca,
okay.
there's
okay, no
delay.
problem. There is time for all. Happy to wait, but I can still speak over it. There are historic houses, there are villas, there are farmhouses, abbeys, churches, chalet, palaces, also, and apartments in cities where you don't find historic houses in the city centers. So wherever we have the need of active, with, for example, cities like Paris or Madrid that need an active collaboration because of the high request of musicians, we also have the collaboration of those palaces, embassies, and cultural institutes. There is something common, though, about all of these stakeholders, and this is their dynamic owners. All of the owners of the historic houses that are part of the network have a similar goal, and especially a similar mindset. They understand the value of this exchange. They understand the value of bringing cultural content in spaces that were built for this. And they understand the value of the project that we propose and we provide. And so I think that this is clear. If all of you are participating in this call, you clearly understand what all of this is made for. And so in and they need to travel because they are choosing a path that is not a usual path. It's not a soloist choice. It's not an orchestra that is conducted by one single person. We are speaking about musicians that need to practice a lot and practice a lot together. And so they practice on their own, they practice together, so the hours are infinite, and it is definitely a marriage that they have to do with the people they work with. So they need they need space to practice, and they need to travel a lot with costs that are very difficult to handle at the beginning of an international career. And they travel for many reasons: the access to master classes, concerts, competitions. They need to prepare for registrations, or even just prepare through tourneys within the houses. And so these are all of the reasons why the musicians really need the support of this entire network of houses to create a fair exchange. If possible, I would ask Martina to already switch even to after this one, the next one, because I already went through the content. Perfect. And this is the last things I wanted to say, because they are, I think, the most important part. Whenever houses join our network, it is important to understand what it is, what it means. And it's not only about this simple exchange. Of course, when historic houses join the network, they have the opportunity to host an exchange for a concert, but there is way more than that. There is the opportunity to become part of a network that has a common goal. There is the opportunity to collaborate with nearby houses that have the same values, to access regional funding, for example, because MERITA is, of course, a huge project, but we also support the organization of smaller initiatives at local and regional areas. And what we can do is support by developing a musical proposal for those occasions. We help also transform areas in cultural hubs by bringing master classes, by bringing festivals in those areas. And the concerts of MERITA are a clear example of how we can bring value everywhere with extremely high musical quality. And so obviously there is a last point, that is the client experience. A lot of historic houses have also a part that is a for-profit activities that they need to develop to support their activities. What we can do is we can always create concerts and performances in collaboration, and understanding all of the value that this network can bring is the key to take the most advantage of it. We are here, we have many opportunities of collaborating, and we would love to make everyone aware that these are the multiple chances that there are within the network. But today we will definitely focus on MERITA and all the future opportunities that will come now that we know also this fantastic news of the continuation of the project. And so I'm happy to leave the voice to the next presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Francesca and Bianca, for guiding us through the MERITA project and Dimore Del Quartetto's activities. We heard some theory, we saw slides, but I suggest maybe we have a look at the video of the MERITA project residencies too, so all of you can have a look at the after movie of one of the residencies.
Our concert will be a la carte concert. There will be menu, and it's not us but the audience who will choose the program that we finally will play.
The idea of this project is really to create a connection with our audience, to share a moment of joy and of sharing.
We thought about what people generally like. People like food, people usually like music. And then we tried to make something a little bit like in a restaurant, because this is something that we all share, that we all like, and we know that a lot of people here are feeling exactly the same. So we hope that people will be as excited as we are to try this kind of new formula to make music. And this is our test concert, and we're really happy to make it happen here.
We will share the video with you. So this was an insight from one of the residencies of the MERITA project in Norway. And I believe the owner is with us, so he can maybe say a few words afterwards. Well, we heard about the MERITA project. We saw a video, and we are going to talk about the impact of the artistic residencies. But I believe before hearing the experiences of the owners and the training organizations, it's good to have a look at the numbers. And with us, we have Diletta Paoletti from Eurolab, one of the partners of the MERITA projects, who's in charge of the evaluation of the artistic residencies, of the impact the concerts and the residencies have. And I kindly invite her to give a presentation on including the most important information she gathered from this service. Diletta, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. A very good afternoon to you all. It is a great pleasure to participate in this meeting, which I believe is a very important moment for the communication and dissemination of the MERITA project, and in particular aiming at exploiting, let's say, the vision and the concept, which are the backbone of the project. On behalf of EU About Lab, the platform member responsible for supporting le Dimore Del Quartetto on monitoring and evaluation, I'm going to offer you a quick overview of the feedback received by historic houses. It has already been said, historic houses hosted artistic residencies, meaning sessions of on-site training in the houses for the quartets, culminating with an open concert performed by quartets. Cultural heritage, of course, is a fundamental asset of the project, alongside, of course, music. Artistic residencies and concerts enhance historic houses and cultural sites across Europe within our project, allowing these spaces to increase visibility, connect with local communities, and experiment new ways and possibilities. In the framework of monitoring and evaluation, surveys are a precious help. So let's look at the results of the survey completed by historic houses, considering that each historic house answered one survey for each residency. As you can see in this first slide here, a great degree of satisfaction emerged. On a scale of 1 to 5, the owners highly rated both the residency and the concert. For example, you can see here about regarding the residency, availability and politeness of the musician, as well as respect for the room used, highly rated, and also the concert performed in the historic houses, a great appreciation for the program, the adequacy of the venue, considering the number of public and audiences, and the arrangement of the space. In the next slide, we also asked the owner to assess the project in general. And again, here the appreciation was high. As you can see, very high for the item project overall assessment, 4.91, and 4.92 for the project has been useful for the historic house. and also in terms of improvement of contacts and relations for the houses. Always high scores for the sustainable business model, which is going to be produced within the project, which is expected to be useful, and also the houses that were involved in management and environmental management analysis found this experience very useful. In the next, thank you, we can see some yes or no options. So the historic house has experienced difficulties in the implementation of the activities during the projects. And as you can see, the great majority didn't indicate any problem, and as just 8% did so. The next one shows that all respondents find that the project offered strengths and added value. So the participation offered in the project offered this kind of strengths and added value. And the next slide, please. This is a very important figure, which is related to the willingness to continue this kind of activities. And as you can see, the very great majority here confirmed that willingness. Then we can switch to the next slide. And in the questionnaire, so we also gave a space, obviously, to open comments from the owners and testimonies. Here you can see some of them. For example, opening the house to a new public attending the concerts has proven that the house is a suitable location for innovative concerts. Also, the knowledge of the history of the house has been spread. Or, for example, we now know that concerts are possible in our house. It was the first time that we received musicians, very positive, recognition, accessibility. Then in the next slide, we can see that we also organized all the open comments that we received through different areas. We have here, for example, the area relation with musicians, which is an aspect related to, let's say, human relation within the project, an atmosphere, as you can see, of friendliness. The musicians have been very sympathetic, polite, and active, excellent atmosphere, full respect for the spaces and so on. So these are all obviously quotations from the comments of the owners. Music and performance. Also regarding this area, we found this kind of comments. The quartet and the trainer presented themselves very well. The concert has many innovative aspects, and the audience was delighted. A very interesting blending of music and narration, a fantastic combination of music, dance, and poetry. And again, here, the musicians were wonderful. The concert was perfect. 97 people took part in the concert. Everyone was delighted with the music, place, and atmosphere. In the next slide, there are some quotations about audiences, blending, again, another key concept, different types of audiences. The local community was really excited about the project that happened in the town. Concerts helps connect with a broader and different demographic than our normal touristic activities. Some criticalities, of course, we also mapped this kind of aspects. Sometimes it was related to the arrangement of space, because some artistic project demanded more space, or something related to language barrier, for example, for the older audience with the English, for example. There was some lack of clarity, so some logistical aspects regarding the overall organization of the single residencies that obviously can be improved. In the next slide, and I'm about to complete my presentation, I would just like to complete the picture by adding some data coming also from the quartet, because obviously we are addressing this kind of the surveys also to our other target group, not just obviously the historic houses, but also quartet. That again, you can see high score for the experience for the quartet on the on-site training and the artistic residencies in the historic houses, and they appreciated the residency facilities, organizational and logistical aspects, as well as they really appreciated the experience of the test concerts in the houses. In the next slide, some special features and added value. I really believe that a performance space is a matter of audience engagement. This means that this kind of activities bring, for example, unusual proximity, as you can see in the third point, between the musicians and the audience. In this kind of environment, there is this proximity that means that the barrier that normally exists in classical performance are eliminated, or shared activities between artists and public, dialogue between artists and public. Then we are going to finish, yes, with the last couple of slides, and also the audiences really appreciated the experience of the concerts in the historic houses. Did you find the experience emotionally engaging? 99% yes is the answer. And would you recommend this kind of event to a friend? Yes, again, for 99%. Have you ever been to this location? This means that the newcomers, let's say, to the houses were the 30%, but it is also related to a figure that we have in the next slide. Yes, that in the case of this concert, the invitation to the concerts were made basically within the owners network. So obviously in this kind of activity, then improving other channels of communication, this will bring more newcomers to the historic houses. So this is a picture of some of the data we collected and we are still analyzing, and that will be part of our monitoring and evaluation report of the project. So 10 minutes, I think. Yes, it's okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Diletta. I think the numbers speak for themselves, and they are very promising. And I'm happy to hear that the owners enjoyed this experience. After having a look at the numbers, I propose to pass to the first panel on the impact of the artistic residencies, and invite to share the experiences of Paweł Esse, the president of Domus Polonorum, our Polish member and owner of the Somianka Manor, Victoria Bloch and Karolina Stajniak-Drzyzga from Julian Kochran Foundation, the training organization and concert organizer from Poland, as well as Katarina Szostok from Chateau Kneżyce in Czech Republic, who hosted as well artistic residency and the test concert for the MERITA project. I kindly ask you to, first of all, introduce briefly yourself and your organization or house, and share with the participants your experience with the MERITA project. Very briefly, before I ask you more questions. Who wants to start?
Okay.
So maybe.
Okay, Carola, will you start in Victoria, or should I say something?
Thank you so much. Maybe let's start with Victoria, if it's okay with you, Paweł. Good afternoon. Good evening, maybe. We are Warsaw-based NGO, Julian Kochran Foundation. We are constantly working to develop a new audience open to classical music And we organized over 250 concerts in a commercial space in Poland, in Hala Koszyki. It's a typical dining and entertainment venue, but we just make this beautiful space to a concert space and culture space and creative space. And more than 500,000 attendees welcome our concert. So we are really privileged to have a huge background, classical background. As a part of the MERITA project, we collaborated with 6 outstanding quartets from across Europe, who were responsible for organizing 6 artistic residencies in historic houses in Poland, in Norway, and in Netherlands. This was our first project where we work with historic houses. And the purpose of the residencies was to provide the quartets with an opportunity to improve their own concerts under the guidance of us mentors during the residency. And secondly, to organize a test concert in a unique setting of the historic house. Artistic residencies offer artists the chance to live and work outside their usual environment, giving them time to reflect, research, and create. Both we and the historic house owners were excited about the project, and we have several Zoom meetings before planning everything together. And if the location was close to Warsaw, such as Somianka and Paweł Esse, we conducted an on-site visit to meet the owner personally and ensure all details were in place. So it was the small part of your question, Ewelina. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So we heard from the training organization and the concert organizer. Paweł and Katerina, what was your experience with the MERITA project? Was it the first time you were organizing this kind of events?
Katerina, would you start?
Yes,
Shall I
okay.
start?
So thank you. So hi, good afternoon. My name is Catherine. In May, we hosted Dutch string quartets, Kaska. It was not for the first time. We organize as well the concerts during the year. Shortly, our house, Zamek Knieżyce, Castle Knieżyce, is in a Bohemian forest on border between Czech Republic and Germany. The first mention of Knieżyce is from the year 1555, but today's appearance of the house is Art Nouveau reconstruction of the architect Leopold Bauer. It was a pleasure that we can participate in Project MERITA because we share the same values, so we support art and artists. I like very much the innovative performance of Kaska Quartet. They played latest string quartet opus 131 from Ludwig van Beethoven. Between playing, they read Beethoven's letters, but they didn't stop to play. They stay on the note, and one of the players read the letter, and after they continue to play. So these 7 intermezzos, 7 letters from Beethoven, from his childhood through love stories, pitfalls of compositions, to one of the latest letters, so shortly before his death. So it was such impressive, more than 60 minutes of Beethoven. So it was not only practice for the concert. We have also pleasant time together. We watched the movies and we played table tennis, so we have also a fun during these days. And another point of view is also view of audience. It's great to see how the people are touched to hear the music on the top level in a rural area. So I think we are more receptive to perception in the countryside. So I'm very happy every time when I see that the audience is surprised of this high-level music. So it was really pleasure. I'm very happy that we can support Skaska Quartet and their mentor. It was Nikola Zavisic, I think, from Serbia. So it was really pleasure to have them.
Thank you, Katerina, for sharing your experience. Wonderful. What about you, Pavel? How was your artistic residency? It happened in December last year. So another season, another challenges. What can you tell? What can you tell us about this project?
Thank you for invitation first. I have thought about what to tell you. And first of all, I would like to thank you, Madame Moncada, Francesca Moncada, because the idea and supporting the idea through years, the last 9 years, what I've heard, was one of the best projects I've seen. Why? I think this is, of course, as you can see, there are a lot of very positive reaction on this. The same for me. I will tell later how it was practically in the winter in Samianka. But generally, my general remarks are as follows. 15 years ago, we throw out the television set. We trying to cut the mass media and so-called mass culture, or the culture for masses. So this kind of project and this kind of meeting people and inviting people to your own house where you live, and then you have in this location have a classical music in cultural monument. It's one of the best things you can imagine. So this was just a first remark, especially now when you have to really dig for quality and living on the countryside. You see the pictures. Living on the countryside gives you the opportunity to have a distance to the city and to all this so-called mass culture. And the idea of taking young musicians, taking old houses, put it together, get the support from NGOs and from organizations like Cochrane Foundation with Carolina and Victoria, is one of the best idea, I would say. So even if it was the beginning of December, so it was quite unpleasant time because there was still no snow and it was cold, so quite depressive weather. But the 5 or 6 days spent, you can see already on the picture, it's in our salon was really just the opposite of the world outside. We had a Karski quartet from Brussels. They came. I brought them from the airport. Then I have a support from the Cochrane Foundation from Carolina and from Victoria. We have also our house lady who was cooking for us. First 1 or 2 days, they did nothing. I said, okay, interesting. They came, we were just sleeping, eating, talking, laughing, going around the house. I said, if it will take longer as this, there won't be any concert and any music. No, but definitely on the 3rd day, they started to practice, and it was wonderful. It was really wonderful, and the house was full of music. And of good energy, of nice people, they've been invited. They were part of our family. You'll see the green branches cut off on the trees. I took the other. This is a very handsome, nice person. This is the violin on the right side on the picture. We took the axe and went to the park, to the trees to cut the wood. I thought maybe it's not the best idea for someone who's playing cello, but definitely it was a very good time. On the fifth or sixth day, they prepared a concert. The last day they prepared a concert. It was a huge involvement, first from the Cochrane Foundation, from the beautiful two ladies you can see on one of our screens, who were very engaged. All together with the string quartet, they prepared something special. They ordered quite cheap in the village those Christmas trees. They put it in a salon inside of the house. They create some kind of atmosphere, some not typical concert, and the reaction was splendid. It was really a very good, perfect atmosphere. Took quite long, and it was something you can really take as one of the best experience in those 6 days. Just briefly, maybe briefly, this is, I would say, this is what classical music, what chamber music is all about, because you can meet the people, you have direct contact with them, you see the reactions. You're not in a big concert hall, sitting in the 25th row, but you are in a room of 80 or 100 square meters in a saloon, and you are just being part of the whole story. So I would say more of this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paweł. I prepared some questions to ask to both Cochrane Foundation and owners, and I see already the questions start appearing on the chat. And there is one received from, I don't know, an owner of a castle of the 12th century, the south of France. And actually the question I prepared was similar, because we are talking of advantages and how this experience is enriching artists, but how it improves and enriches the local communities and also your houses. Does it attract new visitors? What was your experience to this regard? As an owner, why would you recommend opening the house for artistic residencies or concerts? Paweł, Katerina?
Okay. We do not have very open house, so we are not renting the house. We are opening house for concerts, for musicians. In the summer, we host musicians, young musicians, or ladies who are trying to sing in a professional way. But we do not have, the house is not on the market, I would say. It's our family house. So it was not important for me to build some kind of a sales strategy. I don't need to. But definitely for someone who has a house which is which need to be supported from outside in the way of I don't know, to have visitors, to sell the tickets, etc. It's a perfect shot. And second, you're developing by repeating the concerts or the music in a house. You are developing your own public, local public. So because it's not like this that the countryside is not listening to the classical music, not at all. We have a contact with few organizations in the middle of Warsaw, and last coffee with the chief of one of those, the National Institute of Music and Dance. The chief told me already, it was a few weeks ago, that they are making concerts on suburbias, making concerts on the countryside, outside of big cities, and the publicity is splendid. They're great. They are reacting in a perfect way. They need the contact with the first-class classical music. So you can develop by this. You can develop your own society around the house, and even if there is a 12th century building, you, as an owner, you have some kind of responsibility for the society, responsibility for the area around you. As a landlord, let's say, of the 21st century, which sounds maybe ridiculous, but you have some kind of responsibility for keeping up the community and for giving them something which they don't get anywhere.
Thank you, Pavel.
May I speak?
I agree with Pavel. So we are not open for public, but the value was for local community, and I think the most important was that we support the artists, that they can spend the time in inspiring surrounding, and they can practice a few days, and yeah, I think the values us in this way.
Thank you to you both for the answers.
Maybe
Yes.
one of the last remarks. If you are now in the very difficult times, which is true, you have people with with bad humor, with depression, etc. So this is the best way how to meet people, how to just I'm not saying to hug them, but how to take them and say, wow, great. Would you like to drink some coffee? What about the music? This is something we forgot in the last years. So I would say this is the best that can happen, because you invited people from your neighborhood, also from big cities. We have a mixed society. And we just talk. You laugh, you listen to the music, you tell the stories. And these are beautiful hours, No television, no politics, no problems. This is just high culture. This is what it's all about.
I see people are already raising their hands, so I think we started already with the Q&A session, even though I also had some questions to ask to Julian Cochrane Foundation. But I suggest we begin. I think the topic is interesting and is resounding among our participants. So please, maybe the owner of the 12th century castle from France. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
I am Bertrand. Okay, sorry for my bad English, but yes, I have very well understood all what Mr. said, and the cultural advantage is obviously, and the contact, the occasion of contacts and everything is perfect. But organizing, for instance, a festival needs 1 full year, and it is a lot of work to find obviously the musicians and so on, but also to prepare the castle and everything, the lights, the sounds, everything, for receiving correctly people. And finally, after 8 years of this festival, where about 150 to 200 people come every evening, for that, the castle is in the countryside, south of France. I noticed that everybody gets benefits of this kind of event, but not the castle. Because obviously I spend money I get money from the territory, a little bit of money and so on, but it is not enough. Even the tickets income is not enough, And then I spend money, every year. And then after 8 years, I'm in the process of stopping that, because I need some income in order to also take care of the castle. And this is a lot of money also, So the cultural advantage, it's okay, it's obvious, but how can we imagine to transform a cultural event in an event which is not only giving benefit to all people attending and so on, but also which is giving some income to the castle itself, you know. There are...
Thank you, Bertrand. Okay. So in the second panel, we will have a presentation of an owner who is organizing concerts, and I believe his presentation will maybe also answer some of your questions. It's true that here owners, what we know, and the house that we invited for this project were smaller scale projects and concerts. So yes, the idea behind it wasn't financial. It wasn't for the financial purposes. Some costs were covered. But I think you have here among participants, and also John Reisky, that will give a presentation in half an hour, can answer your questions. And also concerts organizers might have some ideas for you. But it's true that the idea behind MERITA project wasn't the one you're mentioning. It's more about opportunities, and also find ideas, find suggestions, and why not transforming the small scale events into something bigger, for example, as a summer festival. But let us go through the presentations, because there will be one from an owner from Czech Republic who is organizing bigger scale events, and hopefully he will give you a proper answer. I saw Francesca Moncada was raising a hand. Francesca, do you have also a question or a remark?
You're muted.
Non si sente. Francesca? Okay.
Sorry. I want to thank Powell, because he really understood the soul of Le Dimore del Quartetto and MERITA. This is a way to build a community with each one of us has a responsibility to build a community all together, the space, the musician, the organizer, everybody can do something. And if the ideas, the project are built with a logic, it's possible to find the support, the economic support to make something right for everybody, for the community, and not for one of us, but for the society. This is what we are trying to do with MERITA and with Le Dimore del Quartetto. We were able to build this because the network. So thank you to Powell, and thank you to all the people who has this kind of responsibility and to bring something to the project. It's not the idea to what I can take, but what I can bring to the project. Sorry.
Thank you, Francesca, for this explanation. I saw also Ben Johannes asked a question about the screen. Yes, so is it for string quartets only, or also for pianos or other small groups? Well, the MERITA project is aimed at quartets. Now the project, the follow-up project, MERITA Cubed, Francesca announced, I think it's enlarged. It's also for trios, right? So yes, it's only for MERITA project. However, I think maybe Julia can answer better. But yes, for MERITA projects, the musicians invited are quartets. For MERITA and MERITA Cubed, it will be open also for the trios.
Yeah, I can confirm. As of now in MERITA, we have 38 quartets, string quartets. They were selected among all Europe as the best ones, ready to kick off an international career. And yeah, we enlarge the roster for the future.
Oh, okay, I can imagine though that the principle of getting one or more musicians at home is completely not dependent on an instrument. It could be singers indeed, or a pianist with a singer, or a pianist with a cello player, or just a pianist, or three pianists that are independent. And so the principle could be nearly exactly the same. So and in most historic houses there are nice pianos. So to me it shouts like, why not then, especially given the latter reason, why not pianists? They are so easy to transport. You don't even need your instrument with you. They are there.
Actually, I'm happy to answer to this point. First of all, I think that the most important part is we need to start somewhere, and starting somewhere with such a huge project means having very clear idea of who are your stakeholders and who you should be working with. So there was an enormous work behind of selecting partners and finding ways to make this work. And one of those was to select a group that has very specific needs, because it is true that you find a lot of pianos everywhere, but quartets and trios also, and they share the same issues. And this is why in this next MERITA, they will be included in the project. But quartets have very specific issues that are not the same issues that soloists find, or that orchestras find, or that duo might find. Quartets have issues also in terms of expenditure of the trips that they do that are extremely expensive. They are not able very often to have an international career because the cost of going around with their instrument is so high that the cachet that they receive are not even covering the trip. I'm not saying that they get a profit out of it, but they cannot cover the trip with two instruments that never fit in all of the standard spaces. So when Le Dimore Del Quartetto started their initiative, it was born as an initiative that was supposed to support very specific problematic and very specific needs that were found in quartets and then in trios. And so because the project was born from finding our stakeholders and making them work together, and then creating an entire network that could support this cause, this is why MERITA was born, first with this goal, and now it's enlarging itself. But each and every step to make this work is an enormous machine that needs to be built in order to make it work, to start with 38 emerging quartets. Now there will be many more musicians included, and hopefully one day it will be a network that works for all types of musicians. But I guess we need to start somewhere, and identifying a group that highly needs it in order to be able to have an international career is a good place to start, I think.
Okay, thank you. It makes sense.
Thank you for the question.
Are there other questions from the audience? So does someone want to ask in person and not through the chat? We have this opportunity, so don't be shy. Anyone? Maybe then we can take a question from the chat. Alba, if you can, I don't know if there was something.
No, that's what I post.
Yes.
How do we sign up for MERITA sponsored museums?
Yes, so for the MERITA, for the MERITA now, we can recommend the MERITA platform. When you have all the dates for the concerts, now there are the final concerts being organized. So this is something you can have a look at. And then when it comes to the new project, you will hear about in the due time. Of course, there will be a public announcement, the call for participants, etc. If there are no questions from the public, I wanted also to ask the question. Yes, Andrea Portante, Alessandro.
Yes, hi. I'm calling from Italy, from Abruzzi. Just one question, and apologize in case it's been explained somewhere else, but in a word, what is the commitment that is asked? I understand it's a few days of hospitality, and at the end, which means also interaction, which is also plus, but a few days of hospitality ending with the concert at the house, correct? But then, in the previous presentation, I saw, a few quite interesting other, options which tend to, imply a longer term relationship. So could you just, explain whether there are like steps and, you commit on the first one, and then if you want, you can then access the network for master classes and other things. I mean, how does it work exactly?
Bianca, Giulia, do you want to answer?
Yeah, as of MERITA, actually, Andrea, it's basically what you said. So the house, shall be a suitable place for different people to stay for up to 6 days. So there shall be enough space for them to rehearse and practice. A very important point that was not mentioned before is that our quartets are developing within these 6 days of artistic residency an innovative project. So the idea is also, to together with the support of training organization, to develop something new that is not just a simple concert, but also, for instance, a concert combined with arts, poetry, multimedia theater. So if you have a look at our website, you'll see some very creative ideas that our quartets developed. And sometimes it was also very useful to receive some stimulus also from the owner. And at the end of the residency, there is a concert that is a test concert, meaning the very first time in which the quartet present to a public the idea. So for them to verify whether the idea works and creates some curiosity in the public. Then, of course, as you heard at the beginning of the presentation from Bianca, there is a chance to enter the network of Le Dimore Del Quartetto and develop much more projects for the development of the local community and interaction in the network itself.
Yes, I think that's something that can be added, because I saw a question in the chat that was not answered yet officially. That is, what are the costs for the owners? While Le Dimore Del Quartetto works on basically a free exchange, and I think it links back also to what Bertrand was mentioning earlier. While Le Dimore Del Quartetto works on a free exchange between houses and musicians, and so musicians give for free a concert that is something that, as you know, has a big cost. The house gives for free the hosting part, and so in this exchange. In MERITA, the whole exercise, and this is why we work so much to receive again the funds for this, is that everyone receives parts of funds to support the work and to make this machine work in a more fluid way and an easier way. And what the funds are made for is to support each and every piece of this big puzzle that we are, and try to simplify all of these actions, from the organization of a residency to the trips of the musicians, to what you need to cover the expenses of a concert. And so each and every one receives a part. Obviously, it would be wonderful and ideal that all costs would be covered forever. But for now, what we have made is the effort to try to find the funds to support this, for the specific goal of presenting completely original projects. Because for normal projects, for normal concerts, many other things are happening. But what MERITA offers is also the opportunity for the musician to train in the historic houses and to really experiment what it's like to create a project from scratch with a trainer, and to do it in the most wonderful places, and for obviously the owners of historic houses to live this experience with the musicians, and to receive the first trial and the first demonstration of these projects. Roberta, I think.
Yes, Roberta. Roberta, if you still have a question, you can unmute yourself. And No, no question from Roberta. Then, before moving to the second panel on of our meeting, I have just two things to ask you. Roberta?
Yes.
Yes.
I was curious. Do the people that come to stay in the house and prepare for the concert know each other before, or there are different people meeting there for this new project?
Yeah, no. Hello, Roberta. Thank you for the question. So they are string quartets, so they are pretty used to work and play together. So the four of them know and work together. Actually, there was a criterion inside the selection of these quartets to be solid ones. So to say there was a request for them to be selected inside MERITA, to have been working together for like 5-6 years. So to ensure that the composition ensemble would be strong enough also to work and to stay inside the MERITA project for 3 years.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Of course.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Diletta, at the beginning of our meeting, presented the results of the evaluation, and the evaluation is an important part of the MERITA project and all the events related to this. So now in the chat, we will share with you the link to the evaluation survey. It will be also sent after the meeting together with the recording, but just it will be very helpful if you can fill in this short survey to help us understand your remarks and a feeling about this meeting. And the second thing I wanted to ask you, we are online, but we can still take a group picture for the project's requirements. So if you can now smile for a second, big smile before everyone, because some people are leaving at 6. So now let's take this moment to memorize this event. Martina, are you ready? Is everyone ready? Please, you can turn on the cameras. For those who are with the black screen, you can raise your hand, smile, and say MERITA. Let us know, Martina, when it's done.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah,
we are 60, so it will take time to make screenshot of everyone. Great. This part is done, the technical part. I think we are respecting the timing, so we can move to our second panel. The second panel is called Events Organization and the Combination with Chamber Music Concerts. I invite Cesare and Luciano to explain us the importance of the sustainable management of historic houses. Cesare is a partner of the MERITA project and is now developing a tool to evaluate the sustainability of historic houses. So first I give the floor to Cesare, and after Cesare's and Luciano's presentation, we will hear again from owner and the training organization of the MERITA project. So Cesare, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you.
Luciano, I'm sorry. I'm so used to Cesare that I forget about Luciano.
I'm here with my colleague Luciano from Punto Tre. Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure for us to join this interesting meeting. As I said, we are from Punto Tre, that is a sustainability consultancy based in Italy. Punto Tre has been engaged and is engaging to develop sustainability tasks of MERITA project, such as environmental management analysis of cultural heritage sites. Please, next slide. Let's start just not an academic lesson, but some basic concept. Sustainability is a wider concept. There's no need, as I say, to make a lesson about this definition, even more at this time of meeting. But it is useful to highlight some pillars about the relation between sustainability and historic site management. First of all, there is a unique receipt to be sustainable. That means each site, in our case, having the same background context, the same stakeholders network, needs and expectations, environmental materiality and objective. On a broader sense, sustainability must encompass three main dimensions, as you know: environmental, economic, and social. And last but not least, sustainability is not only technological improvements, solution, or significant change in procedures. It could be translated in practice by several initiatives, soft initiatives, such as education, engagement, and initiatives in general to raising awareness about one or more themes concerning sustainability. Of course, is a hard balance, and it is not the first priority for historic site management. As we know, those sites are fully engaged to preserve and promote the artistic, cultural, and historical values. Often, moreover, as we said before, in a context of economic constraints. In this view, sustainability has to be balanced with all the other aspects that are important in this context. I mean, it's a challenge, and it needs smart and a long-term view. And often, let me say, it could be translating saving monies. That could be a paradox, but for instance, if a site manager implements a monitoring plan, it could be able to identify economic inefficiencies associated with energy consumption, for instance. Now, I'd like to share with you a few but important results we gathered through a specific survey that we implemented and submitted at the beginning of this year to gain an insight into the environmental management of those cultural heritage sites. Consider that the survey, which was carried out in the form of a Google questionnaire, received 42 answers. I mean, it's not too much, but it's a useful starting point to make some smart considerations about how we need to improve sustainability into the site management. To better analyze the result gathered, we implement a specific index, an environmental management index, and as you can see in the previous slide, the average score obtained by the sample is 11.5 on a range from 0 to 21. So it's not so negative, and there is a great potential for improvement. The survey, next slide, also reveals clear sustainability issues that are well managed crosswise the sample, such as waste and cleaning maintenance, inclusivity and accessibility of the sites, but also shows several room for improvement, such as third-party environmental certification, renewable energy source, and water management. And then the main question about the constraints. Site manager and owners are really committed to a more environmental site management. This commitment persists despite the challenges and often considerable costs associated with the conservation of historic building. So, as you can see in the chart, we have a great effort to environmental improvement, but at the same time, the sample revealed that there are a lot of significant constraints to make this improvement. I would like to end my presentation with just 2 words on the other task we are developing, that is a CO2 calculator, that is a web app focused on the carbon footprint of musical event, and it will be released at the end of October. And the 2 main objectives of this calculator are a support event organizer in developing a climate strategy of the event, a responsible approach to the organization, at the same time to contribute to increase the sector environmental sustainability and awareness. And of course, this web app is developing within the European project MERITA. Thank you.
Thank you, Cesare, for this input on sustainability. Can you maybe tell us already if not only people from the MERITA network will be able to use the CO2 calculator, will be open to everyone, or it's for now only a tool for the MERITA partners and historic houses that were involved in the project? I think this can be interesting for participants.
Giulia?
Yeah, actually,
yes, Giulia wants to answer because
yeah, this is an incredible and very innovative tool that we are developing inside the MERITA platform. It's, as you know, very crucial to start doing this monitoring job with regards to also very small concerts, like the one we are used to do with the string quartets. As for partners and kind of associates working with us and with our partners, but later in the future will for sure be opened. It will be improved, so it won't only tackle the environmental aspect of sustainability, but also the social dimension, and for sure it will be made more accessible as, again, a very simple tool to start monitoring these very important aspects.
Thank you, Julia, for the clarification. I invite now the other speaker, an owner from the Czech Republic, John Rejski, owner of Willemov Castle, who will explain his activities in regard to the concert organization in a historic house. John, please.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank the group for attending and showing so much interest in the questions, and certainly the exchange that we have here is very rich, I think. So a little bit about Willemov Castle. We are a 17th century building, historic monument in the Czech Republic. We're about an hour east of Prague, so countryside, very deep countryside. I am a 14th generation owner, and we are working on our hospitality business. So there was a question about how to make this more of a revenue producing or profit center with these concerts. I would say one of the main things that we've had to do is brand the events business within the castle. So we have a private home that's open to guests to stay in through Airbnb. And then the concert series ends up being a halo effect. So people that come to the concerts, they may end up staying with us as guests. Guests that come to the house may end up going to the concert. So it's a symbiotic relationship. But we basically have these concerts in the castle. I have some data in the last slide, but our vision is really to create an enchanting musical experience that harmonizes the rich cultural heritage that the Czech Republic has to offer with the universal language of music, set against the backdrop of historic country castle. Now, this is something that my ancestors have been doing for centuries and supporting musicians, and we feel compelled to continue that tradition. So it's not a big money spinner, but I would say it's a very important outreach to the community to have people coming in during the season, during holidays, and invite the entire community into the castle, because normally we have paying guests. But this is open for a small fee. People can come and get a drink. They get refreshments. We try to make it very festive and a good experience overall for the concert goers. You can see the variety through the posters, the variety of acts we have, both from singers, soloists, to quartets, to children's sort of focus to try to make it fun around Christmas time. Then the next slide is just to give you an example of the salon where the concerts take place. Very acoustically beautiful surrounding. And I would say we have room for around 80 people, plus or minus, in the salon. So the next slide, you see a sort of packed house, and this is typical of what we would get and the concert goers would experience. Afterwards, they might get a drink when there's an intermission, and then they would have a chance to walk around as well in parts of the castle. So next slide, please. So just a summary. I mean, we've been doing this for some years, and over 17 events, we've had total 915 guests, average 65 or so guests per concert. So it's relatively modest in size. And the price is basically to cover our costs. It's not to make a lot of money. I would suggest that sponsors get involved if you're looking to bring in subsidies for the concert and generate some more income in the bottom line. The other idea is we have wine tastings and other events that are connected with the concerts. And we have the ability to offer VIP rooms to guests who wish to stay over, and we would also get into probably dinners and wine offerings for those guests. So we make money on the rooms, and I would say the concert is to attract guests out into the countryside. And that's my very short presentation. I'd be happy to take any questions. I would encourage those of you who are looking at doing concerts and have not yet done it, that this is a very interesting and wonderful way to welcome people into your home. It can take a bit of organization. We have, as you see here, an event manager that helps us with that, and some sponsors that help us with covering the costs. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and good luck to all of you.
Thank you very much, John. I think it was another insight on the concert organization. We heard before from our owners that participated in the artistic residencies. Now, I think Bertrand, hopefully he had an answer regarding the marketing and the financial perspective, which, of course, it's not the core of the MERITA project, but I think for owners that would like to extend their activities and open the house to the public for for events, it's an idea, and you prove that it's doable. You can combine, even though it's not your biggest activity. But I think it involves also local communities, as you said, that it helps them stay longer at your property and in the region. So it's beneficial for everyone. Thank you, John. You're staying with us until the end, so in case participants have some questions, you will be able to answer. I believe there will be some. And our last presentation would be from Elizabeth Gerbel from the SQBA, String Quartet Biennale Amsterdam, the MERITA project partner and organization, the training organization for the MERITA project, and test concert organizer as well. Elizabeth, if you can explain us your experience, first of all, with the MERITA project as a partner, and focusing especially on the historic houses. What would be an advice you can give them? And yes, what was your role in the MERITA project?
Well, good evening, everyone. It's a privilege to be here. Oh, sorry, but just I have a dog who's asking for food. It's a privilege to be here and to be partner of the MERITA program. Just a little bit so everyone knows who I am or what I do. I am working for the String Quartet Biennale Amsterdam, and I am responsible for the residency, the young talent program. I'm sorry, I need to get rid of this dog first. I'll be back in a sec. Go.
It's important. We all understand.
Sorry, just jumping up and down. I'm responsible for the Young Talent Program, the SQBA residency, and MERITA, obviously. Yasmin, our artistic director, would love to be here, but unfortunately she's not able to, so she is excused. We are an organization that's organizing, first of all, a festival every other year. A big festival just for string quartets in Amsterdam in Muziekgebouw het IJ, aan het IJ. And 8 days, 50 concerts, 25 string quartets from the really one with a huge reputation already, but also the young and up and coming string quartets. We're always looking for new talent. We're trying to find new talent, new young groups who could be the established ones in a couple of years' times, hopefully. And while we're doing that, it made sense to start also a young talent program to create a sort of breeding ground for young string quartets so that we could have a sort of community in a couple of years' time with a lot of young string quartets. So when we were asked to participate in MERITA as well, we were quite happy, but because it fits, it suits us. And it's amazing because we normally have a residency every 2 years for 4 weeks, spread over a period of 2 years, with 3 string quartets only. And now suddenly we have the MERITA quartets there as well. So there are more young talent string quartets joining. We have from MERITA 6 string quartets for our training program. And we chose, because that's one of the conditions to participate, because otherwise we couldn't have managed, next to the festival, to do an on-site training with 3 string quartets at the same time. So it was quite a challenge to find the historic house who could offer also the space and the beds to host 3 string quartets. And especially in the Netherlands, that's quite difficult. So we made a different structure. We found a place, it's called Acousticum, and that's a place, it's the old military barracks that's completely renovated and now a sort of training stage, a training center for performing arts. They offer studios. They're just right by the train station, so very comfortable. And also everybody can stay there. So it's a really lovely place. But we were still looking for other places for the concerts to perform. And you're now looking at a picture of Huis ten Donk in Ridderkerk. And it was lovely day. We had a concert over there, and it's so amazing to be in a special place with cultural heritage, beautiful surroundings, paintings, and outside the gardens. This is the place where we performed. Our topic within MERITA is disability and social hardship. So we are trying to make connection to people who are not the standard audience, who have more difficulties to reach, to get into the traditional concert halls. So we are looking for different places, different programs with no barriers between the audience and the string quartets. What you see here is that people are actually participating by just making contact with the string quartet, being within the string quartet, back to one of the people playing. You can hear the vibrations, you can hear the sound as if you were playing yourself. And was a really, really nice experience. You're now looking at the Medea string quartet. This is the other week. We were invited to stay at Landgoed Noorderheide, which is a beautiful private estate in the middle of the Netherlands, and they invited us for a full week to host 3 string quartets at the same time. It was beautiful. We were staying there with the Atenea string quartet from Spain, the Cleo quartet from the UK, and the Dutch string quartet, Viride quartet. And it was amazing. And it's just, look at pictures, just being there in this beautiful private house with all the belongings, pictures of the families, paintings and everything. And I just want to read a little line written by the Cleo Quartet afterwards, just to explain how special it was for them being there, because they're just the young string quartets. They are, it's always a challenge how to find the means to survive. How to practice and rehearse together. And it is like a MERITA string quartet, so it's a very intense cooperation. And it's sometimes difficult to find the communication and how to address difficulties within the string quartets. And they really felt it was so great to be in a special environment, to let go a little bit of all the stress, have the people, because we work with quite a lot of tutors on all different areas, not just the classic master classes, but also about communication, finding the individual in the quartet, because only then you can really reach heights, you can really perform. It's also like embodiment. And this is also another project of the Atenea Quartet you're now looking at. They are just, what if you can't see each other? And how are you connecting then? And how are you just by making contact they are just imitating sounds here. It's a lovely project as well. But I will just the words of the Cleo Quartet, because we do a check-in at the beginning of the week. And everyone is saying, I'm so stressed, there's so many difficulties, just so much work to do, and I don't know, I'm so tired. And then they just arrive at the Landgoed Noorderheide, and the Cleo Quartet is explaining where to begin. Words cannot even begin to describe how grateful we are that you and the whole team for facilitating such an extraordinary time in Noorderheide. The whole energy and the distinctive beauty of the place made for an absolutely heaven of musical possibilities, not to mention being wined and dined like absolute royalty. It's so rare to be treated as well as we were, and not to mention sleeping like a baby every night. Never before we have sought so much solace and comfort in nature that surrounded us, and it was a joy to feel to feel able to breathe deeply for the first time in, well, a very long time. And it's sometimes we do not realize how stressful it is for young string quartets to be in this phase of their life and beginning their professional career and all the stress that it involves, and how to do and how to work together and how to invest in repertoire. And just the combination of the music, the teaching, and the surroundings and the beautiful house is really a perfect combination. And on the other side, it's so beautiful as well to use the places like this for all sorts of things, concerts, but also for trainings. And also the hosts were very, very happy to have the guests around, the musicians around, because they were very polite, they were very friendly, they absolutely loved it, and they were very grateful, and they were very considerate with all the expensive furnitures inside, etc. So it was really, really a beautiful experience.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth, and thank you other owners and training organizations for these highlights. I think everyone wanted to hear from you your experiences, and it's wonderful to see the diversity, different houses, different places, different initiatives and projects of the for the artistic residency. I think you answered this question already, Elizabeth. What are the challenges to organize artistic residencies and the concerts in the historic houses? Maybe also I wanted to ask this question before already to Julian Cochran, because the project was on, the training was on organizing concerts in unique spaces. So this question goes again to both you, Elizabeth, and Julian Cochran. What's the uniqueness of organizing these trainings in the historic venues compared to the traditional spaces? What are the benefits, and what difference to host them here?
You're first asking me, or first?
You can start as
all
you
right,
were.
I will start. Well, we have done residencies as well in, for example, in Muziekgebouw A, which is the standard studios, not much daylight, just working hard. And it's nice, but it's so stressful already to work together, and it's very intense and tiring as well. And just being in a different place, and most of the time it's a beautiful surrounding as well with nature around it. It gives the time to really relax and just being out of the daily routine, different surroundings. I think it really adds, and it works both ways, because also the organization, the house, was so happy to have the musicians over and to see what's happening, and how great it is to be able to use their house for this purpose as well. And what we did as well to thank the house is that we just organized the concert, obviously, and they invited the family, because it's a huge family, and with a lot of members and nieces and I don't know how many generations there are already. So they were invited basically for this concert, and they were totally surprised. So, oh, right, this is also a way to use the house, because they weren't even aware that you could do something like this as well. And yeah, so it was perfect. It was a perfect match, and especially the different surroundings. It's fun as well to have not just a standard studio to rehearse in, but it feels like a living room, which makes you a little bit more at ease and a little bit more relaxed. And sitting near the fireplace in the evening, just playing cards in the evening after rehearsal, that's great as well. So it's a bit of everything. And we used, because there's a lot of coaching about communication, what we do as well, and young string quartets, although they are established and they're supposed to stay together, and that's the plan, sometimes there is a change of a member, someone falling out, and they need a replacement, and there's a lot of stress and insecurity involved. And it's so great to have nature as well, to go out for a walk, discuss this with a tutor, and yeah, like sitting there discussing their problems under the tree. That's amazing. You can't do that in a studio.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Victoria, Carolina, do you have something to add?
I totally agree with Elizabeth. What I can add is I think the historic houses, they are really inspiring places for artists and for us as trainers as well. There were some, of course, challenges with adapting the projects, quartet projects to the spaces, but we tried to, make the projects as more flexible as we could. So yes, and I think also that in historic houses concerts breaks the border between the artist and audience, and it's combine everyone and make the really special moments and atmosphere. So this is my experience, as our experience. Karina had to go, but I can share from our side.
Thank you, Victoria. I think it's very interesting to hear from you, because you were at owners' houses together with musicians. So your feedback it's very important and might be inspiring for those who think about organizing concerts. The panel began with Cesare's presentation on sustainability, and now I wanted to go back to John and maybe ask you on the sustainable event organization, because I know you are making use of your land. So it's part also that is on your property. And I wanted to ask for your insights on this sustainable organization after what you heard from Cesare, from Punto Tre. John, can you give us some
happy to
feedback?
comment on that? We are running these concerts mainly in the winter time, which is the low season for our guest business, to attract people. So it's very expensive to heat the place, and we have to be careful, of course, how we do that from the economic standpoint, but also from the environmental standpoint. We like to reduce our footprint, and we're heating with biomass, which is, of course, from our forest. And so we're not burning additional fossil fuels, but we are burning biomass to fire the furnace and heat the castle. It has 20 some guest rooms and lots of opportunity for improvement. And we have looked at a renewable energy project for solar panels in our fields that would be used to offset the amount of combustion we're doing with the furnace and give us a great deal more electricity in a sustainable way. But that also requires investment, and we're looking at ways to finance that now. There's no shortage to improvements in a house that's over 350 years old in terms of efficiency, insulation, lighting. You can talk about water use. You can talk about all of the areas where you see leakage in terms of the cost for an owner. And as owners, we absolutely have to bring that cost down. It's a matter of survival, not just sustainability, but surviving as a business. So we're looking at it constantly, I would say. Besides labor, it's our biggest expense. And when I say labor, I mean the staff and running the place, running an estate of this size. We have a forest that we use to generate wood sales, and that's actually starting to be less and less sustainable because we have the bark beetle infestation and the collapse of the forests in Europe, as many of you know. So we've had to pivot to hospitality and events, which is weddings and corporate and concerts, to subsidize our existence as a private home. And these are existential changes that we've had to make, and sustainability is at the forefront.
Thank you, John. I know Pavel, as who organized the artistic residency in December, had also encountered the same challenges. Thank you for this explanation. I think it's very, very insightful. I see Sjur. Sjur was hosting a residency together with Julian Cochrane Foundation in Hyggegaard. He's the president of our Norwegian member. Sjur, what do you want to add?
Yeah, thank you very much for letting us being part of the MERITA family. We were the lucky hosts of two quartets and Julian Cochrane trainers in winter. It was snow and 10 degrees below zero, so it was a very tough experience for them. But they had masterclass for the local orchestra, and they had a concert with the local orchestra in the community concert hall, and they had two fantastic concerts in Hegge. So we will thank you all for a fantastic experience, and we hope to have more quartets visiting Hegge in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sjur. As you heard, the MERITA Cubed follow-up of this project will start next year. So I hope, yes, you will have other opportunities, but also together with the Dimore Del Quartetto. Angelica, I see Angelica from
Hungary. From Hungary.
Yes.
We share exactly the same problems as the Czech colleague, I would say. The same problems with heating, with the same problems with audience on the countryside, and I will surely get in touch with him if he allows, because it's exactly the same situation. Thank you. It's a very stimulating meeting.
Thank you, Angelica. Angelica, you also hosted MERITA Quartets, so you are aware of this. We are slowly going to the end of this meeting, unfortunately, but you still have some minutes to ask the last question, so don't hesitate. Is there someone else who wants to comment our meeting on ask a question to our speakers? John?
Yes, I would just say that if there anybody in the group that has access to sponsors with regards to finding people who will underwrite these concerts, in addition to the MERITA program where you get the musicians and you cover their costs for staying, I have no problem with that. We would do that happily. But what we still are lacking are, finding sponsors who maybe would like to align themselves with the MERITA program and become a stakeholder for these estates that need underwriting to keep this going. So that would be my request.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
May I answer? Actually, MERITA platform in this moment has the opportunity to be helped out from the community, European community, but the idea to build this network and this project is to give a future to the platform, and we have to be sustainable together to find a sponsor to help this circulation without the European money. And your idea is lastly our idea. We are trying to build this also, the Cesare CO2 calculator and other instrument could be a way to have a fee to be part of this platform, and this fee is to continue for the future, to have this circulation, to have in your house a musician that you only host, but they are paid by the fee of the platform. This is our idea for the future. The European community helped us for a while, but when the network will be interesting enough, I think will be possible for us to have a future.
Thank you. John, do you want to comment on
Yeah,
Francesca?
just to reply, I wasn't implying that we get public funding via the EU. I was more looking at corporate sponsorships and private individuals who would want to be associated with this wonderful events and also bring perhaps their customers or their guests to see the event and take part, because we have very often empty rooms which could offer very at good prices to those individuals who are willing to sponsor us. So it is private outreach and corporate outreach that I was aiming for.
Thank you. Are there other questions, comments? If not, I propose to leave on this note. To conclude, I wanted to thank you, first of all, Dimore Del Quartetto, for the MERITA project, because without you, we wouldn't be here. I thank the speakers for sharing your valuable insights, for sharing your experiences for both MERITA project, but also your experience as owners, as training organization. I think the goal of this meeting was to reconnect and to see together what are the opportunities from the artistic residencies for the concert or event organization at the historic houses. So we wanted, well, I thank also the audience. I think the meeting was engaging. I see that most of you stayed until the end, which shows big interest. And yes, I think that's what we do at the European Historic Houses. We always share the ideas for you to manage your house, to maintain, to restore. And MERITA project, it's this beautiful cultural and cultural initiative. So thank you again, Dimore Del Quartetto, Francesca. Thank you, our speakers. It was very, very interesting. And I thank also Martina and Alba, who were there, who were preparing this meeting for you, who were in touch with the participants, the speakers. So thank you, Alba and Martina, for your help. The meeting was recorded, so it will be shared. You can spread the word. You can share the link with your friends, with other owners, with associations. The presentations will be also shared, so in case you missed something, you can have a look. I'm very grateful for the project, because it showed, and was the most important for us, for the European Historic Houses, is to see the opportunity that this project gave for the owners. For some, of course, some of you were organizing concerts and artistic residencies in the past, but for some of you it was the first time. And we know that the MERITA Cube already is where we are looking forward, because a lot of owners would like to reapply or try to host trios or quartets. So thank you very much. Wish you a beautiful afternoon and evening. And we remain at your disposal if you have any questions in regards to the events organizations, European Historic Houses, and other questions you might have related to this topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Evelina.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, meeting.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.